Combaticons! I told you to abort! The mission is lost! Who are you to defy me?
I've heard enough of his orders. We need to take control of this ship! Combaticons, combine into Bruticus!
All right, and welcome back to another Megatron diorama stream. And today we're continuing where we left off. We're going to be working on the back and side walls because the base layer is now finally done. It's actually kind of just placed right now in the actual shelf, just because I was doing a test fitting to make sure Bruticus fit pretty well in there, and he's fitting nicely. Now, you'll kind of notice that I kind of went over the clouds I did last night. I just wasn't really happy with them. The sky was just like too bland for me. You know, it's like I like to have a bit more, a gradient in the sky. So it was a little bit too bland for me. And I wasn't really happy with the clouds, so we'll kind of work on that later. But today we're going to be focusing more on the water today. I want to get that done because it's probably going to take longer to dry than work on the mountains and the clouds and all that. I'll probably maybe I'll just like do without clouds this time. Who knows? But we can work it out once we get there. So we're going to do the water, the clouds, mountains, and then the last thing we have to do is the trees. They're going to kind of go around here, up and around. Then they're going to kind of also be on the side walls as well. And then we'll have a little bit of like foliage in the front here, just kind of, break up the sand, make it more, just kind of give it a bit more personality, add more, color to it. Add more pops of color. So it usually helps out. So I have a few colors I want to use for the water here. So it's gonna start. I think we'll start back to front. I think that's how we'll kind of work here. So just gotta make sure I keep everything in line. Make sure I have, because I have a bunch of colors I want to use here, so I want to make sure I have them all in order and make sure I know to use them for when we do the sidewalls and all that. But it should be fine. So we'll use a smaller brush for the time being. So I think we'll start. Yeah, I think we'll just start from the back. I think we'll kind of go like this because the direction of the way is kind of going this way. So we're going to kind of go like that. I think that's kind of the best way to kind of do things here. So we'll just start with black in the background. Just to create some distance. Black. I'll put a dark blue here. Slightly lighter blue. So now we're getting a bit more lighter with our colors. I'm going to put a little bit of purple. Now I want to add a little bit extra fluff to them with different sort of shades. Colors here. Just want to make the water very, very vibrant. And then I think we'll do this guy. And then do some white at the ends. All right. So, like I said, we're kind of go this way. So, start in the darker areas up here. A regular brush for the lighter shades. I think that's kind of the best way to work is have one brush for the darker colors and then one for the light colors here. Yeah. Oop. So put a little white on there. I'll use this one to kind of blend them. Yeah, that should be good for the water. It doesn't have to be too crazy. Just needs to have a little bit of a. It's not going to be too prevalent, anyways. So I just want to have a little bit of a little bit of texture going on. I just realized I didn't tweak my stream out, so I got to do that real quick. So leave the backdrop on the side here. Oh, bad idea. Start with the top one because it's going to be very, very simple. I think I'll just do a few colors. or no. Yeah, we'll just start. We'll start with this one. So I don't think we'll have a whole lot of volume as much here. I gotta put too much because it's a very, very small section here. And then some white. And we'll grab some new brushes. That way it's a much more cleaner sort of thing here. So I'll just need 2 more brushes. Just like a good content creator. I don't know if. There we go. And watch my. I don't know how to do this YouTube thing. Yep. I should probably clean up my mess before I do anything crazy. It's fucking getting everywhere. Let's put that there. Also put that down in the paints. I'm just gonna bring out darker brushes. Just want to darken that up there. Yeah, it should be good enough. It's gonna be in the corner. You're not gonna see it very much anyways. So let's see there. We got that. And to the left side, which will have a little bit more volume. They're black, dark blue, navy blue, bright blue, violet, just add some extra flavor, teal, some aqua blue, some turquoise. I think that'll be the last of the turquoise. I just realized isn't right there. A little bit better angle. And then some white. And then 2 fresh brushes. And this should be the last of the water. It's probably gonna take a while for the dry, so we could probably, I guess we'll probably just have to work on the clouds. That shouldn't be a problem while we're waiting for it to dry. Okay, so the big brush. To the left here. Yeah, a little more blue. Brighten things up. Oop. Oop. No. Okay, it's going to be up to the water. So let that dry. Yeah, a better spot for it. Oh, almost fucked myself over. Almost. Wait. All right. Do this. Go back to the base or the back layer. Brush. There are these brushes. Don't need them for now. Smack the camera. Water. Gotta be careful now, not to mess everything up. It's a moment of truth. Not really. But there we go. Just gotta make sure my hands are nice and clean. Don't smear nothing. Got some white. Now I'll mix in some blue. Do a quick test. Make sure it's the color we like for the clouds. Make it work. Kind of bluish white, or kind of a sand blue. Save the fan brushes for when we do the palm trees, so I'm not gonna do that yet. You know what? I'm gonna use a paper towel this time around. Try this out. There we go. Much better. That was yesterday. Oh, much better. Kind of hard to see though. The lighting here. Try and darken it so you can see the clouds we're making. Do a much longer one here. Okay. So grab a new sheet of towel, paper towel. Only problem with these smaller ones, they're going to be covered up pretty soon by the mountains, but it's good to have them kind of peeking over. More realistic that way. I'm kind of spread them out a bit more than last time. Okay, after this I'll probably put some white, more like pure white onto them. Just gonna make them more pop out a bit more. Okay. Okay. And this guy. What's that? Okay. Just let that dry. And see that the water's still drying, so I can't really do much now. Or I don't know, maybe I can do some foliage. Yeah, I could probably do some little foliage here. I will need some foliage in the background along with like the stems of the trees, so I can probably just do that real quick while we're waiting for that stuff to dry. So that's very dark green. There's going to be this hunter green. So do that while we're waiting for stuff to dry. Yeah, at least get the first layer going. I picked out a lot of like really dark greens, or sort of more military, more muted greens rather than very vibrant ones, like for a jungle or a tropical forest or something like that. I want to go for more of a. I wanted to go more for like an old weathered sort of a look for the colors here, so that it kind of looks more eerie and all that. Didn't want to be a very, because I don't want it to be like a very beautiful tropical beach. It's kind of more, because it's meant to be kind of like a post World War II sort of environment. That's kind of what the Combaticons were based on, their vehicles anyways. So I'm gonna do that. So I'm gonna mix the hunter green with the olive green. There we go. Just take one of these sponge things and get from Michael's. We're just kind of dip it into the paint. And then we'll just kind of pick our spot here. I think we'll go right about here. It's going to be. This is all it really is, just like dabbing into the paint, into the foam. Just kind of doing this, and then obviously adding more and more shades of color will kind of help, you know, give it more volume, give it more details, just by dabbing it in. That's all I need. And then we'll just some green on the edge there. With a different shade. Doesn't have to cover up everything, just because it wouldn't in real life. Because you still see kind of, because like sometimes like the highlights or the lights from like different foliage would kind of shine through into the sand. So let's just kind of do that. You know, looks like it's still drying water anyways, so just ignore it. And need to be wiped down. Still drying. So wipe down these sides. Don't really need this much paint there. Make my life easier. Okay, we'll get back to the greens. Okay. Move this off to the side. Should be enough for what we need. Cradle it like a baby. And this might be the last thing we do after today. Hey, Deadman, how's it going? We're just getting started. I think it might be ending pretty soon because I don't have much else to do after, because everything's still drying. Well, I could probably just work on more of the clouds. It's going to be drying pretty quickly. But yeah, got a bit done. We got the water going now, so we got the water going with the clouds still drying. So I need to go back in and add some more white highlights to that. And so right now we're just kind of working on the greens, kind of getting the first layer of like kind of like the sort of the, I guess, the foliage, the kind of the grassy terrain, that, or the not really grass, because it would be more like bushy stuff. before, like it's kind of meant to kind of break up the sand from the backdrop we have here, so, or from the base layer, and it's about, I think it's about 3 inches. The base layer comes up to about 3 inches tall, so we don't have to worry a whole lot about this area as much. So just kind of go like around this area more so. So I mark where the line is, right about there. Start with the edges here, and they'll kind of work their way into this. And this area right here doesn't really matter as much. It's going to be covered up by the base layer once it goes into the shelf. So, yeah. Yeah, it might be a shorter stream today because it's taking forever for the water to dry. I put a whole lot of paint on there. I don't want to mess with it too much because I don't want to mess up the gradient by trying to remove paint or to So I might just play the waiting game, and maybe we'll do. Well, I don't know, what time is it? 5:41. Okay, so I might cut it short around 6:30. If well, I could probably get some clouds done, and that might have to be it if the paint on the water doesn't finish drying. Because the most I can do right now is just do a little bit of the foliage. I could do some like darker shades here, but I don't want to do too much right now. This is just kind of meant to be the background layer of the trees, because what I want to have is I want to have some foliage and then some trees, and I want to have some more foliage in the front of those trees because it kind of helps sell the idea of what we're looking for here. It kind of makes it more realistic because you wouldn't just have trees, wouldn't have like trees and then the sand. You'd have trees, sand, foliage, and then sand. In a lot of instances. So I'm trying to just kind of keep that in mind. So right about here is about our third 3-inch mark. Yeah, a lot of things like that I keep in mind when doing this stuff. I might just do like a darker shade on top of this, and then that'll be it. So I can't do any trees just yet because I still need to do the mountains as well. Maybe I can do mountains. I might be able to do mountains. I think it's still drying, so I can't really do a whole lot there. I think I'm going to mix the black with the green I'm using. Might be the best option at this point. Try to add a bit more shadows. And once the water dries, we'll have to do like the white sort of lines, because you usually will see like the white sort of water coming up on the shore. So we'll do that when this is fully dried. So just gonna leave this off to the side again. Let it dry. Our routine here. This one's kind of ready. Okay, just need more green. That cap just broke. It's okay. It's okay. I'm just adding some black. Just add make a little bit dark. Just add some extra shadows. Maybe too much. Okay. So I wipe it down. Not too worried about smearing the green paint. That's already kind of drying. Kind of the point here. And just rub it against the wall. Don't like that. Okay. So I want to add a little bit more green up here. There we go. So it kind of caves in, kind of follows the same sort of line as the water here. Okay. I'm starting to think I should have done the water yesterday. Ooh. Oh, hey, on my shelf there. Yeah, so. Oh, you know what? This area needs to be filled in a bit more. I'll get that in a minute. I realize this area is a little bit fatter up here, so I need to kind of do that on the right panel. We'll do that in just a minute. Hey, Corey, how's it going? Just a blur on my end. See, 3 colors a little. Yeah. So we're doing a beach diorama for the Bruticus shelf on my display. So we're good. So we have the sky here, we have the water, we have a little bit of the sand, and then right now we're just kind of adding the green foliage. It's later going to be covered by trees, or palm trees rather, because it's going to be a beach, obviously. So they have palm trees there. So yeah, it is kind of a blur though, a lot of it, because it's just kind of the nature of it all. But yeah, not doing too much detail on the water, just because it's going to be covered up a lot anyways by trees. That's kind of the sad part about doing a lot of this stuff, is like you have all this like nice like deep, paint or gradients and whatnot, and then you all get covered up later on anyways. So we're gonna work on the foliage, kind of adding some like shadows with a black and a green mix, and then we'll work on the clouds, and then I think that'll probably be it, because I don't have much else to do other than that, because I did all the base, because all the base layers all done. Like I did the whole base yesterday on yesterday's stream, and so we're pretty much just like doing like the final touches now. So I think let's see what I did today. Now I could try doing the mountains if the edges here are dry enough for me to work. Shouldn't be a problem anyways, because it's supposed to be darker cloud anyways, so it probably won't be a problem. So I'll probably do that if the clouds are done drying. at that point. And then, yeah, that'll probably be it, because I can't do a whole lot much else after this. I put I put a really thick layer of paint on the water. I don't want to try and take any off or what have you, because I don't want to ruin like the gradient I kind of created here. So yeah, and I kind of went for a different sort of angle for the water as well. It's kind of going in this direction, kind of like at a really unique sort of angle, just kind of just gonna make it a little bit different. Because normally I just do like a straight on sort of thing, but like more of a horizon. But I kind of want to do something a little bit different here. Hopefully it works out on the shelf, because it might look a little wonky, but I think once you have a bunch of trees and whatnot, and you get the figure kind of standing proud, I don't think it's going to be all that noticeable. If it is, even if it is a little wonky, if the perspective's a little off or whatnot, but yeah, gotta live and learn. But yeah. Say hi yesterday. Stream was over that night. Oh, no worries, man. Oh, never mind. You're talking to Devin. Got a good look at last two, but not first one. Okay, yeah. So it should be on my channel. Or if you look at the stream from yesterday, it should be you should be able to see kind of the progress we made on that, as well as on my Twitter. Because we finished the base layer, and it's kind of sitting on the shelf right now. Looking pretty decent. And yeah, touch this up. Some more green here. There we go. And that should be it for the foliage, at least for the main sort of layer. And I can probably get started on these clouds. Looking pretty dry. So I can do that now. Need some white. And my paper towel. Now we use kind of like a mix between navy blue and white, kind of makes kind of like a sand blue for the clouds. And so we're just going to add a white. Oop, might be too much. Just kind of add some highlights to it. Just kind of dabbing the paint into the clouds here. almost like a dry brush, almost. And yes, I still have a squeaky ass chair. All right. And okay, you guys are all do this tag amongst yourselves. That's cool. That's all cool. Try to keep up the chat as it goes. Kind of hard to at this angle though. Just when I need guests on, but my computer is like so shit that I can't really have that because I can barely be on other people's channels because I always like cut out. Now it usually works best when it's just like me and like one or two other people, but if it's like a whole like ensemble cast, it's like it can be a problem for me when I'm on other people's channels. Because sometimes it's a little the audio and all that's just kind of a little off for me. I need a new computer. My computer's not built for this. Bigger sheet of towel. Okay, there's my other clouds. There we go. I'm still fucking drying. Jesus. Put paint on there. That's okay. We still got our clouds to do. So I think that'll probably be the last thing we do today, unfortunately. I don't know. Maybe some of these edges are still kind of drying, but I could probably work around that. So I'd have to kind of wait for the paint to dry on the clouds, though, on the bottom ones, because they'll be kind of covered up by the mountains. So it's kind of a tricky thing to navigate here. That's okay. Might need to be a shorter stream today. Time is 1 hour. Otherwise, you just be here, watch me wait for paint to dry. That's very interesting to look at. I'm thinking some Total War, one PC. A fan or something to dry it out, or I probably could. I just don't have a fan, so it's the only problem. Or a blow dryer or something like that. That might work, but I don't have one right now. And besides, I don't want to really mess with the paint too much, anyways, because it's really hard to get these really nice sort of gradients with the paint, and so I don't want to mess with the paint too much. It's kind of best just like let it dry on its own. That's okay. I think once it's dry, I think that, let's see. Well, if I can do the mountains today, or tonight rather, then I can probably do then for tomorrow's stream, it'll probably, because I have tomorrow off, so I'll probably do a stream tomorrow. And so tomorrow will be about doing the trees, because maybe doing some little work on the, I might do that tonight. If this is all dried up, I'll probably just do the little white shore lines. And then tomorrow will be all about the trees. So, yeah, it's kind of the plan. And that should be it. Like, it's a very, very simple diorama. Really simple in terms of like the environment. Now, actually, I wanted to have, because this is based on the Starscream Brigade episode in G1, where Starscream was kind of cast out by the Decepticons. So he kind of found a bunch of these old, like, worn, rundown sort of World War II, World War I sort of vehicles on this island. And so he kind of took them and kind of used them to kind of create the base for a new team of Decepticons that he could use to fight against Megatron in the episode. And so that's where the whole idea for this shelf kind of came from. And so one of my ideas I want to have was actually would be to have like little old, like sort of World War II vehicles kind of stuck in the sand of the base layer somewhere, like have like a tank barrel sticking out, or or like some wings from a plane or what have you, or Jeeps or stuff like that. So, but I couldn't really. But I was having trouble finding stuff like that at Michael's, so I couldn't really do much with that idea. But I mean, I can still find a way to implement that. It's one of those things where I can probably find a way to fit it into the diorama a little bit later on if I find something for it. Just going to sell the idea that it's a old, like, sort of battlegrounds from an old war. Wanted to paint dried. It's going to be, thanks, dude. Yeah. But that's kind of the story of Combaticons. So they're kind of, and Bruticus by extension, because they're kind of, it's kind of hard to explain that they're basically, because combiner teams, they're kind of interesting because they're usually made of 5 individuals, the combiner teams, and they kind of merge together to create one big super robot, and then that super robot has its own personality of its own, where it's kind of implied that it's kind of a mix of all 6 Decepticon personalities that kind of, or Autobot personalities that make up the combined form. I think that's kind of how it works. But I guess it kind of depends on the writers as well, because the writers will kind of do their own thing with like the same sort of concepts. So it's not like Star Wars, right? Where you have like a very, at least back in the day, there's usually an established status quo, or like kind of like DC as well. It's not like DC or Marvel as well, because like DC and Marvel, even though they've had their reboots over the years, they've relatively kept everything relatively the same for the most part. All the characters kind of have the same sort of sort of wits about them. But the Transformers, like, it's a little bit different because it's like there's so many different variations because of the writers and the whole, and they like to have their own. Like every writer kind of comes in and kind of does their own thing with it. And that's kind of what the nature of the franchise is all about. So like you'll never. So like for example, certain characters are going to be a lot different than in certain shows versus like what they're like in the comics, what they're like in the movies. Like so like for example, Shockwave was a character that was very, very different. The original cartoon as opposed to like the comic books at the time, because in the cartoon, like Shockwave was portrayed as being a very, very loyal Decepticon, but in the Marvel comics, he showed the capacity to actually overthrow Megatron, and he actually was capable of doing so, and actually has done so in the comics as well. So like stuff like that, like is like kind of what I mean when like the franchise can be very, very all over the place, because there's going to be some, especially like with stuff like the movies, for instance, which is the most drastic variation of the characters in the franchise, because the designs are completely different. They're completely designed from the ground up for the most part with the Michael Bay films. And so from a design point of view, as well as from a personality and character standpoint, they can they'll usually like be very, very varied. Depending on the writers and the needs, what the needs are for the film or the cartoon or what have you. So it's kind of it can be frustrating at times, though. It can be kind of annoying because it's like just pick one. Like it's like make up your mind. But at the same time, it has led to like really good ideas for characters as well. So it's kind of like you have to kind of take the good with the bad type of thing. It's like this. Sometimes there'll be good ideas and there's some bad ideas. It kind of just depends on how they're perceived by the audience, I suppose. So, yeah. But that's what I kind of liked about the War for Cybertron games. They kind of kept the best of both worlds. They kind of did new things, but also kind of kept the, sort of the same sort of cues, the same sort of ideas about the characters alive, but they also kind of took their own route with it in a way that feels like it's still the same character, just in a different sort of setting. You know what I mean? Different sort of environment. That's why I love those games so much. I'm really excited because I think that there's rumors that they actually are going to be bringing those games back to the Xbox store relatively soon. I heard it's supposed to be re-releasing pretty soon. I think. Which makes sense because it is the 40th anniversary of Transformers this year. So it would make sense to kind of do that as well. And they also did actually just recently, they're actually going to be doing some stuff for Overwatch. They have a few crossovers coming in. They're going to have a couple of the Overwatch characters kind of having Transformer skins. So Reinhardt's getting an Optimus Prime skin. Let's see, Bastion's getting a Bumblebee skin. I think the new character Alari is getting the RC skin. And then Ramatra, the Omnic villain in the Overwatch game, is going to get a Megatron skin. So there's also a tie-in comic that's kind of coming out. So that's pretty interesting stuff going on with the Transformer. Like Transformers is actually kind of doing some really interesting stuff this year. Not that it's all like good or anything, because I'm not really too keen on this new Transformers movie coming out. The Transformers 1 movie. I mean, I don't know, it might be good. We'll see. It just has a lot of things going against it that I'm not too particularly fond of. But it might be good. Who knows? I'm not. And a lot of people are kind of complaining about the story of it being about all the Transformers, like they don't have like they're where it's like where the whole story is about them gaining the Transformer. I don't have a problem with that necessarily because in the original cartoon, I don't think they actually had. I think that because I think in the original cartoon, the transformation ability was kind of a thing that kind of came after their creation when they were created by the Quintessons, I think. So it's not necessarily a huge departure to have it be where it's an ability that is locked away, because they're kind of basing the way that the story is being portrayed is that it's going to be it's going to be kind of based on the IDW and Exodus novels, where they kind of portray the government as being very, very corrupt and sort of having a caste system. And so it's not too far left field for them to do something like that, because it has been a thing that the franchise now. I do kind of prefer it where, you know, transformation is just a natural part of Cybertronian biology. I just kind of think that's a little bit more. I just think it's more sensical, but it's not necessarily a deal breaker for me. The main deal breaker I have kind of is just kind of the tone. I think that the tone just seems a little off, as well as some kind of the portrayal of some characters. Like more specifically the Megatron and Optimus Prime in the trailer, it kind of seems like they're kind of be kind of more of a buddy type thing, and it's not really how their story has gone in the past. Like it's not really what those characters are, you know, because I think because they're kind of basing off like the idea that Optimus Prime, Megatron, they were brothers. It's not really like whenever I hear the term, but I never really interpreted that as like a literal brotherhood. Like I always kind of saw it as more like a brother in arms type of thing. If they do that sort of route with those characters, because obviously the rivalry has kind of been portrayed in different ways over the years. So, because like sometimes there's, you know, a friendship there, sometimes there's not a friendship there at all in their past. So, you know, it just kind of comes down to how well it's written. But yeah, but like none of the franchise. But none of the cartoons or any other portrayals, it's never been a full-on like buddy type thing. It's always been kind of more of a mutual respect that kind of falls apart, and they kind of had the same sort of goals for protecting their planet and all that. But like those goals, obviously, they kind of fell apart. Their ideas, you know, weren't exactly lining up as they wanted it to. And that's what kind of drove them apart, at least in the Exodus novels and the Aligned continuity and a little bit of the IDW stuff. But we'll see. Maybe I might surprise me. You know, it might just. I mean, if it's just a fun little action movie, I might go see it. You know, if it's just like a fun little thing, I can probably stomach it. But cause I have heard like kind of mixed things from people, right? Where some people are kind of saying it's not going to be like this little slapstick comedy thing. It's actually going to be a bit more serious than what the trailers are presenting it as. I don't know if that's true. But yeah. How are you doing? Let's kind of drying quickly. I see the other clouds. Yeah, the main thing also was the tone. I don't think they really know what they wanted the movie to be. And so it seems like it's trying to be a comedy, but it's trying to be serious. And it's just like, I think that you need to kind of pick one route and just kind of stick with it. All right. Okay. So grab a black for starters for the clap. So I'm going to try and start off on some of these mountains here. I need a plate. So you know what? Let's borrow this. Instead of wasting my paint. Okay, actually not. Where's my ruler? I kind of go up to there. Oh, yeah, gotta be careful here. I'll go right here. No. Okay, I'll stick with it. There we go. Kind of like the blackish green sort of mountains, actually. All right, later, Corey. Good to see you. I'm sticking out. Yeah. And then let's get the right side. So we got. There we go. Let's try to flatten that out as much. There we go. There's our first set of mountains. This one's kind of sticking out there, so I'm just kind of go over that. Not gonna do any crazy details for them. They're gonna be covered up anyways by trees, so I'm not gonna worry too much about how good they look. Not gonna add too many details. This all kind of. That's gonna be this way. Take off some of that paint there. There's our second set of mountains. I'm gonna grab my towels real quick. Just gonna wipe some of this shit off here. Gotta be careful about it. Not gonna bother. I don't want to ruin it anymore. Leave it. It's gonna be covered by trees anyways. All right. Gonna mark where. There we go. Oh, shit. Where's the right side? Oh, no, I messed up. There we go. Just some of this stuff off camera. So make it easier for me. Bring it back in just a minute. Okay. There we go. Bring it back. Just trying to mark out where I'm going to put the mountains. Make sure they line up with the side walls. Okay. Just strip covering that mountain or that cloud there. It's okay though. I'm not really showing the clouds or the mountains. There we go. Right. See, I think this will be the last thing we do now. I think that's it. So everything else is still drying, or the paint on the water is still drying, so I'm gonna wait for that before I can do my trees. But actually, I can probably do the white edges. Yeah, I can do that real quick. Then we can kind of call it a wrap. Because this stuff is really where it's still drying, because I put so much paint on the back, on the deeper ends. Because I put a bunch of different colors. I put like a little bit of purple and like other different shades of like teal and whatnot. Add a bit more of a tropicalness to the water. And, it's add a bit more flavor to it. Gives it more personality. Okay, that should be it for the mountains. Now you can do a little water line. And we're going to kind of start from the stuff here. Yep, do that. And they kind of wash up on the shore here. I might do some paint flicking in a minute. So that little extra. Sometimes in the water you'll kind of see like a little bit of a sparkle almost. So I'm kind of add that just a little bit to give it a more realistic sort of look. Now you usually see it when there's a bright sun popping out, but since we don't have a sun here, it's not going to be as it wouldn't be as noticeable. But we can just kind of pretend there's a sun like kind of behind a little bit of the shine. We can do what we want here. It's our diorama. Reality be damned. Oh, I better show what I'm painting. There we go. It's a little hard to see. It's kind of lighting's kind of off today. I don't know what's going on with that. It's too much. Just gonna try and fade out the water, or the white rather. This will kind of be the most that I do with the water. Yeah, that'll be the little shoreline there. That'll be it for the back wall. for today. Do this one. Probably too much because it was already kind of covered up most of it, anyways. There we go. Should be good enough. Fade it out into the water. Let's look at that. Well, and this side. And this will be the last of it for the day. All right, that should be it for today's stream. Yeah, so I gotta head out. Yeah, well, same with me, man. I gotta go now because I don't have much else to do because I'm still waiting for the goddamn paint to dry on the water. Luckily, I got that done first things first, though, because then we'll be here sitting all day. We're taking breaks at weird ass times, so I guess I'm big piece back. Just gonna end us off here. So yeah, there's our back wall, almost done. So once it all dries, I can go in and do some tree work and all that. And oh, I have to do my paint flicking. Hold on, not done yet. Not done. I do a little bit of flicking because I get those little sparkly lines into the paint there, and then we can kind of color wrap. Not off the hook yet. So I'm just gonna do the little ones. It might go too rough. I'm just doing it to the lighter areas of the water, so you wouldn't really see it as much in like the darker, the deeper water. At least not from this angle. With that little extra spark. Just gonna give it a little bit extra character here. Okay. Thought I was done. Not. Gonna have the side walls, and then we'll kind of color that. Oh, I don't know which one I'm doing. There we go. So right now, I just take it. So what I did was I took some paint and put on a brush, and I'm just kind of flicking it onto it. The thing. I probably should have got a bigger brush for this, but I don't want to waste another brush for the little details here. It's kind of like how I do my stars. Sometimes you'd see like this little sparkle in the water from a distance. Just kind of like that. Very, very subtle. Not really going to emphasize it too much. Unless we're doing a space, or not space, but a night sky. Actually, a white. Put my hands down real quick. This is the last sidewall, and then we can call it a wrap for the day. Yeah, pretty good amount done today. So. In places it shouldn't. Okay. So, oop. Yeah. Don't worry about it. I'll fix that up tomorrow. But yeah, that's going to do it for me. Not much else to say here. So I call it a wrap. So thank you so much to Dad, Man, and Corey for sticking around for this very, very brief stream. And I guess I'll just catch you all later. And thank you guys all for lurking. So we're going to end the stream, as we always do, with some Combaticons doing their thing. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. I'll probably do another stream where we'll be doing the trees, and then I think it'll just be, and then obviously some more foliage. We'll be doing some palm trees, so that will, yeah, that'll be it for this one. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys around.
Retreat!
Combaticons! I told you to abort! The mission is lost! Who are you to defy me?
I've heard enough of his orders. We need to take control of this ship! Combaticons! Combine into Bruticus!